Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2018 Academy League here in North America. This is going to be the spring split coming at you. Very, very hype matchup. We're into week 2 here. We got TL Academy going up against TSM Academy. This is a matchup I am very hyped to see. Excited what these players can bring out. So take a look at the band so far. It's going to be Kog'Maw, taken away from the side of Team Liquid, as well as Camille, actually. So Camille, kind of a flex pick nowadays, I guess, top lane, and we have been seeing a lot of her in the jungle in solo queue. Not 100% sure if it's been busted out in professional play just yet. Possibly in Korea. They do like to try out some new things over there every now and again. Other noteworthy bans, we got the Zoe taken away from TSM, of course, and Tahm Kench, Ryze also off the board. That's going to leave the first pick for TL to be Azir. So they say the Zoe's out of commission. Their next top tier pick is the Azir, the golden chicken in the mid lane. That's going to be handed over to Mickey, who had a marvelous Ryze game in Team Liquid's first game, the one that they ended up winning. And on the other side, TSM responds with Gangplank Israel picks. So picking up that Israel, of course, this was still 8.1. So Israel and Kleptomancy both incredibly strong, and Gangplank, obviously a lot of top laners have actually liked to just blind pick him. They don't think very many teams have the answer, although Team Liquid seems to think maybe they do, as they pick up the Riven, who is a counter, definitely in solo queue, to the Gangplank, although we do not see that very often in competitive play. But this is Viper we're talking about on Team Liquid team, and he is, well, I guess he became famous being a Riven one-trick, so if anybody can play that matchup confidently, it is a Viper. They also pick up Sejuani for themselves, probably one of the top tier junglers, maybe the best. Some might disagree, but I personally think so. And the last pick for TSM Academy will be the Malzahar, so they're rounding out, get their mid laner all slotted up. The bans for phase 2, pretty much junglers getting banned away from Team Liquid Academy because they already had theirs locked in, so they're trying to pinch the jungle pool. They take away Jarvan and Zac. On the other side, TSM banned Janna and Kalista. TSM first picked the Braum support, actually, so they want to make sure they get the support that they want on the team. It's going to be the Israel Braum lane, very good poke, very good chase potential. And on the other side, it's going to be the Tristana Taric lock-in for Team Liquid, so they're going with a bit more safe, passive farming kind of lane. And we'll see what jungler TSM decides to lock in, hovering the Kha'Zix, and not hovering for long. They're going to lock that one in. Grig's going to take the Kha'Zix in there, looking for a bit more damage and carry out of the jungle role, which is going to mean TSM doesn't really have much of a front line to speak of. Braum is their tankiest champion, and he's not going to be all that tanky, so they're definitely going to be looking to play fights more bursty, catch than back to front traditional team fighting, which is what we're probably going to see out of Team Liquid Academy. They got the kind of more traditional setup with the tank, top lane and carry, and then they got the traditional, obviously, hyper carry, AD carry. So now that we are back into game, we're going to go ahead and slow things back down to normal speed. Mr. Rowles coming over from EU, a lot of hype around him. If it was any other Academy team he was on, you might think he might even be getting ready to go up to the NALCS team, but of course TSM has a very good AD carry of their own at the moment. Viper actually getting caught out a little bit here. Cheese, Shady, and Brandini going to be hitting up that top lane. Shady on that Braum just kind of running around the map, trying to get some vision down for his team. Maybe they thought they were going to get invaded. Who knows? But yeah, it looks like Viper's actually going to be taking the spellbook, I'm assuming. I can't actually see the keystone, but he has Ghost right now, and I'm guessing he's not just taking that the entire game. Probably just taking Ghost for the laning phase. Gives so much more chase potential to Brandini. And he's going to be really trying to bully that matchup early on, because that's what you need the Riven to do, because Gangplank, that sounds very weird. Jankplank, maybe that could be some sort of meta build if he becomes janky in the future. I don't know. I'm babbling, but what I was saying was Gangplank scales a lot harder than Riven, especially in team fights, basically just because of his ultimate. First of all, but the barrels can do so much work as well. And Gangplank's job in this matchup is just to make bank, just farm, get money, print paper, get rich, or die trying. That's basically the motto right now for Brandini in the top lane. We'll see if Viper can punish this matchup enough to make the Riven pick worth it. If not, you kind of really need to play around that Riven and use the pressure that she creates, or else the pick just kind of doesn't really do much. Mickey hitting level 2 first in this mid lane match Definitely going to have the push advantage here over the Malzahar for the first little while anyways. Take a look at the jungle matchups. It's going to be Sejuani being piloted by Hard, going up against Grig on the Kha'Zix. So very high damage team comp coming out of TSM Academy here. They do have some late game. Of course, they got the, Malz and Gangplank do scale pretty well, but I feel like if they go to the late game, they're just going to lose anyways because they're going up against Tristana and Azir with a decent front line in Hard and Joey who can make them tanky as well. So I feel like TSM really needs to use the kind of mid-game power spike to their advantage and get leads that way. Maybe even through some laning advantages. You would hope that the bot lane could do that, but they're going to take the bat seat for now. Mr. Rawless really loves the TPA Israel skin. I actually personally don't really like that one. The fist, or the hand, seems just too clunky and weird. But he likes that skin. I believe he used that last game as well. He played Israel as well in their first game. Take a look at the top lane. No surprise that Riven's going to be pushing this matchup in. Brandini seems pretty comfortable so far, though. Viper, of course, probably pretty well versed in this matchup, seeing as he has probably played Riven into legitimately everything. I'm sure he has more Riven games than I do overall games in League in general, which tells you how versed he is at the champion. TP is going to be burned here by a Blaze Olive to get back to that mid lane. It's kind of the story of mid lane at the moment. You kind of, everybody except Azir pretty much just takes Spellbook and TP's back to lane and make sure they don't really lose any farm. Ooh, nice cancel actually by a Blaze Olive. Didn't have vision of that either. That was just assuming he was there, and he guessed correctly. Mickey's going to be a little bit annoyed, but he'll end up staying. Decides if he backed, he might have lose some minions that he didn't want to. Hard actually looking to make a gank happen here on the top side. Brandini pushing a little bit too far. Does actually get knocked up, and he looks like he's going to go down. He kind of has just given up. Maybe waiting for his jungler to get a little turnaround, and they just do not have the damage to kill him right now. Wow, Gangplank. Brandini, I thought he just gave up on life, but it was quite the opposite, in fact. Viper actually might be in a bit of trouble here. Maybe has to use Flash. Nice double stun. He will get away from that all right. But really good job by TSM Academy, halting that top lane pressure, and in fact turning it around now on Team Liquid. And if you are Team Liquid, this is not the matchup you want to have turned around. It's not really any sort of cause for concern right now. Still very, very early in the game, but first attempt has been squandered by TSM. So good job by them. Shady's going to drop the shield. I'm going to go ahead and push that wave in. See, Mr. LS does tend to actually back pretty early to get that quick tier. So you can start stacking that one. They usually try to shove in. Back away when they think they can get back on time. Mr. Alice actually decides to stay, so. Might have been because it wasn't a cannon wave and he felt like he might have lost out on too many minions to the tower. So he decides to stay. Just counting off the top of my head right here, I see about 7 stopwatches on the screen, so there's going to be a lot of people going gold in this game, I have a feeling. And 3 longswords for the Riven. Of course, Riven, very famous for her love of swords, of the long variety. You know, blades, swords, she's really a fan of all of it. Actually started with the Doran shield, interestingly enough, so kind of opted into more sustain rather than damage from Doran's blade. Not much of a difference, but of course, Brandini can be annoying with the poke that Gangplank can offer, just shooting Qs every few seconds when it's off cooldown. So the Doran shield does make sense. It's kind of, you feel like you're going to win the lane, so why not just add some extra defenses. Blaze Olive, sick flash there. Actually really getting in the head of Mickey right now. Mind games. Definitely didn't fat finger that one. It's all planned, don't worry. And crucially, it's kind of important. I don't know if Team Liquid actually saw him burn that flash, because if they did, he might have to be sweating sometime soon, because Hard and Joey are in the area looking to clear some vision. Teamwork right here. People in solo queue, take notes. Always travel with friends. The buddy system is key. Shady gets his recall canceled there. I'm not sure if he was actually recalling, because I think he just recalled. But either way, Team Liquid Academy doing a good job here, securing vision of this bot side, making sure their bot line is nice and safe. It's actually TSM with the jungler on the top side right now. It does not look like they're actually going to do anything with it, though. And so far, this matchup not working out at all the way Team Liquid was planning. It's actually Gangplank with the CS lead so far, which is really not what you want to see if you are a Team Liquid Academy fan. Shoryu and Joey starting to turn this matchup around a bit, pushing them back into their tower with the help, of course, of Hard, who had been there recently. Blaze Olive gets his TP back up, goes back, and just continues the farm. So CS pretty even across the board. Of course, Sejuani is a little bit better at clearing the jungle than Kha'Zix. He struggles with the multi-camps. Of course, he doesn't get that isolation damage. Major CS differences right now. Azir pulling ahead a little bit in the mid lane, but that's being countered by GP pulling ahead in the top lane. And I feel like GP being ahead in CS is actually a little bit more efficient than other people because, of course, he gets that extra gold. So maybe a little bit ahead, as you can see by the gold count on top of your screen there for TSM Academy. Frog versus boar riding a lady, or the other way around, lady riding a boar. That would be cool. You know what would be cool? A reverse Sejuani skin where the boar is riding her. That might be a little bit weird, but if they can do it right, I think it would be really cool. Probably never going to happen. If you're listening, Riot skin makers, get on that one. Start throwing some concept art out there. We got an all-in actually in the mid lane. A Blaze Olive Nice Zonias is going to avoid the Emperor's Divide, but will he be able to avoid the damage? He doesn't have Flash, of course. Greg is trying to get a response kill here. He should be able to pick it up. No help's going to be coming from Mickey. And technically, that's more gold worth for TSM Academy, but the Azir getting a kill up on the Malzahar while he is already up in CS is a bit of a scary proposition if you are a fan of TSM. For now, though, still an okay trade here for TSM. They're not really too far behind in the mid lane. It's not out of control just yet. Of course, a Blaze Olive with that teleport on such a low cooldown will be able to take the punishment a little bit less than normal. As we take a look at this replay, he's just a level ahead, steps a little bit too close, takes a lot of damage. And Mickey just sees his opportunity to go in. Minions were dying. Nice Malzahar to kind of cancel what he thought might be the Emperor's Divide. Does not quite pull it off. I feel like if Blaze Olive played that a little bit better, he might not have been able to die, but who knows? It would have been very close either way. They end up getting a kill. He gets an assist, so not bad at all. Got the Frostfang now. Be able to do some scouting. Of course, still patch 8.1, so that hasn't been changed quite yet. This mid lane matchup should just turn into a bit of a wave clear farm fiesta for a while. Both these champions get to the point where they can't really be killed by the other one. Mickey, though, has something to say about that, going very aggressive. Of course, he does have Hard in his back pocket at the moment. So feeling confident to go in for those plays. A Blaze Olive kind of keep it up in farm, though. Not too bad. He gets caught out of the jungle here by Hard. The ultimate immediately goes down. Do they have the damage to finish this one off? All in from Mickey. He goes down without even using the flash. That will be the return kill, though. And actually, a Blaze Olive does pick it up. He gets the double kill, actually. The GPL coming in huge there as well. And that ended up being a bit of an overextension from Team Liquid Academy. It was all planned from a Blaze Olive. He knew if he used Flash, they wouldn't have gone that deep, and they wouldn't have got a double kill. And that's really good for TSM. That puts a Blaze Olive right back into this matchup, and that's really where Team Liquid Academy was getting all their pressure right now. Actually, the Dragon being started up, and a Blaze Olive will TP right back into lane and continue farming. And this is going to mean this is pretty much a 100% secure Dragon, because Azir and Hard are nowhere in the area. Not even going to be an outside chance for a steal. Tark, Tristan, don't really have any abilities that can steal a dragon, realistically. So we take a look at the replay. Hard spots him out, gets the knock up immediately into the ult. Blaze Olive, he just kind of doesn't flash. He just waits. He decides to do damage instead of trying to run away. He realizes he's dead, and it actually turns out really well. Hard gets the malefic visions passed on to him from his fallen companion. And that GPL, I really want to stress, that's really, really good from Brandini there. Not sure if it was him who was paying attention or if it was one of the TSM members who called it out, but that GPL I feel like was crucial in turning that around into a 2-for-1 for TSM. Bot lane is pretty much bot lane. Not much to say about it. It's rocket jump in there from Shoryu, just testing to see if his W actually works. I'm sure that's probably the first time he's used it this game. So he wants to make sure that W key is functional. So we see an invade here actually from TSM looking to grab up that red buff. Team Liquid Academy is looking to maybe respond a little bit late on that one. TSM's going to get out scot-free. We'll see if Hard wants to do a counter invade on the top side and take Grig's red buff. And the crucial match here in the top lane is still in Brandini's favor. I feel like Riven, while she is good in the lane, she's also very good in the mid game as well. She can really start to pump out the damage when you're at that phase of the game where nobody's quite tanky yet. She can thrive in that environment. But so far, this counter matchup really not working well. Mickey also wants to test his abilities to work. A Blaze Olive turns it around on him and gets a huge advantageous trade there. So Mickey definitely playing this matchup aggressively. Works out sometimes, not so much others. And thanks to that somewhat ill-timed aggression, he is actually now behind in CS. Might have a little bit of a fight here. That's a nice Braum ult. Will knock up Joey. They will get the stun here from the Braum passive. Will they be able to pick up the kill, though? Heal is burned. Another W lands from Israel. That's not going to do too much damage. And they do survive, but they have to blow heal. So good trade there for TSM Academy. And they take the blue buff as well. This is reminiscent of their kind of big brother team, TSM, of a few years ago, who always used to invade for buffs pretty much on cooldown. As you see, as soon as Braum lands one of these Qs, it's really dangerous to stay around if you're a Tristana, because the Israel can E in and Q you so fast and get that stun off, and you can just start losing these trades horrendously hard. So you gotta really play it careful, try to dodge those Qs from Braum. That's really what starts it all off in this matchup. But yeah, bot lane is bot lane. Obviously, no kills on that side. They have not been participating. It's just kind of farming it out. Mr. Rallis has picked up a farm lead, which is what you want to see on an Israel. Obviously, it's really good for him going into that mid game to have an advantage. That's really where he starts to power spike, and you can start to use that. Usually when Israel hits about 2 items is when you want to start using that. It used to be when he completes his Trinity Force, but a lot more and more these days, Israel's have been going back to the Frozen Fist build, Frozen Gauntlet, I believe it's called. Just really helps against any sort of AD the enemy team has to offer, and it actually is a cheaper and kind of more efficient power spike at the moment. See TSM buzzing around this bot side jungle. Grig is going to spot out that pink ward. He's going to clear that for himself. A little bit of a roam down here from Viper. He has pushed up the top lane. It might look to make use of him. Brandini does have the TP though, so he would be able to respond somewhat quickly. Team Liquid Academy trying to fight back a little bit here in terms of vision control. Kind of a half-hearted attempt. They just kind of stood over each wall and said, if you come any closer, we'll go in. Hard's just going to go ahead and pick up his Raptors here. Game kind of slowing down here a little bit. TSM has accrued just over a 2,000 gold lead. About 15.5 minutes into this game, they're up 1 kill, but more importantly, they're up CS in important ways. Basically, all of their lanes are winning in CS except the jungle, which I guess technically isn't a lane, so I'm still right in a sense. Ult coming down here from the Israel tries to cancel out the recalls, does not quite predict the location correctly. He is actually going to decide to stay, so he wants to try to push the wave into the tower so that Tristana misses CS. He's kind of, as you can see, suspicious that they might be hanging around, so he's going to play it a little bit safer. He's going to go ahead and back after that wave and probably going to have his Frozen Fist if he decides to go that route. TSM once again establishing vision control in this bot area, preparing for the Ocean Drake that will be spawning in just under a minute. Hard setup here in the mid lane, looking to maybe make a preemptive gank to set up for that dragon. Maybe hoping to blow a flash or something. Not going to work out. TSM's going to have this timing on the blue buff. Going to hand that one over to a Blaze Olive. Continue the wave push war in the mid lane. It's actually going to be pretty important to see who has pressure in the mid lane. That's going to dictate who can get control of the dragon area. And by the pace of this game right now, it seems like it's going to be TSM. Sejuani is actually on the top side taking her Gromp right now, so that might mean Team Liquid is just not really interested in fighting over this dragon. Or possibly they don't think TSM's going to grab it up right away. We'll see how that one plays out. Definitely a nice dragon to have. Ocean is really nice, especially if you have like an Israel who has a lot of poke. You can keep the siege up, and TSM just going to immediately go onto it, and Team Liquid pretty much gave up all onus in this area, so that should be free. Another dragon over to TSM Academy. That is their second of the game. And they don't really have to give up anything for it. Team Liquid may be saying we have the scaling, we don't need to worry about it. A little bit of a fight brewing here in the bot lane. Mr. Alice avoids the stun. Nice Zonias is going to avoid a lot of that damage coming through. He's in the middle of 3 members of the enemy team, has to flash out. Here comes the teleport from Viper. They do get the kill onto Mr. Alice thanks to that flank. Grig is next up on the menu. Bug is on the menu, boys. He goes down to Shoryu. That's 2 kills for Team Liquid in the bot lane, and they really needed that. I feel like this game was trending more and more towards TSM taking over, but that was a very, very well played fight from Team Liquid Academy. TSM just never really got their footing down in that fight. And a good TP from Viper there on that Riven. Hasn't really made much happen in the top lane matchup, but comes down, gets 2 assists there. As we take a look at the replay, it was actually TSM who starts the aggression off here. They probably didn't know that Hard was so close. And because Hard was so close, it made it so that this matchup, or this fight actually ended up in Team Liquid Academy's favor. Beautiful Taric ult means that TSM couldn't really respond to any of the aggression. And the TP comes through from Viper. TSM already had committed a little bit too heavily, and they're going to get killed. So that is the gold lead getting inched a little bit closer to being even. Team Liquid Academy still down about 1,000. But with the more, or the heavier scaling team comp, I suppose you could say, Team Liquid Academy, their gold is, I guess you could say, scarier than TSM's the later and later we go into the game. So if you're an earlier mid-game team comp like TSM has, and he's going to try to cancel the recall, he actually does get it, and Mr. Rala is being very annoying with his ultimates. Mickey is not going to be very happy about that one. He will have to get some help here defending on the tower. He's actually pretty low. We'll be able to clear that wave out, though, and he's going to go ahead and recall now. Ablaze Olive might actually look to stop it. Mickey says, I'm tired of this. I want to back. And Ablaze Olive says, okay, there you go. Sends him back. No recall necessary. You're already in the base. Just got to wait about 40 seconds before you can leave it, unfortunately. So maybe Mickey a little bit tilted there. And there's a flash forward from Shoryu, actually. They really want to get this kill, and I think they'll be able to. Beautiful synergy there from the bot lane, catching them out. Grig tries to get the return kill, but Shoryu, of course, with the Tristana, had the reset. He's able to get out to safety, so some good showing there from Ablaze Olive, and then not so good. I feel like that was just a really heads-up play from Team Liquid Academy's bot lane, recognizing they were safe to make an aggressive play. The Malzahar did not have flash, and beautifully using that Taric stun. So we take a look back at Mickey. I feel like he's just tilted. He's like, I just want to recall, please. Nice flash there from Ablaze Olive. Gets the outplay. Unfortunately for him, probably got a little bit too confident after making that play. I feel like Team Liquid Academy just realized nobody's really in the area that can stop us. And that was I believe, rocket jump flash forward. Kind of seemed like a little bit of a visual bug there, but I think rocket jump flash was the combo, or the other way around. Either way, they got the kill onto the Malzahar. Not really going to turn into much, though. They weren't able to get any sort of tower or huge vision advantage off of it. Looking across the boards here, CS is somewhat even. TSM Academy definitely has an advantage in that regard, but Team Liquid has the advantage of kills, and we got an all-in here onto Ablaze Olive once again. Nice cancel on the Suppress. There's the Emperor's Divide. Looks like the Malzahar might be going down first. He will indeed, but it's TSM who now take control of this fight. 2 kills over to the Gangplank, and Viper is left running away after TSM nicely turns around the aggression there. Yeah, and that all started with Team Liquid thinking they have a catch on Ablaze Olive. Little did they know he had a lot of teammates hanging around the area. As you can see, Grig was right there clearing the golems. Shady was on his way. And of course, TP was available, and that's something you always got to keep in mind. Even though the TP also came from Team Liquid Academy, as you can see by the time Team Liquid Academy's TP was done, the fight was already over. Whereas TSM had the immediate reaction with the TP, and they're rewarded with the fight. And now they're actually starting the Baron buff up. They're going to commit the TP here as well. Kha'Zix, of course, has a lot of damage against this Baron, but Team Liquid's in the area. That's the all-in from Viper, looking to get a stun down. The suppress lands. He will go down. Not before he Zonias, though. That's buying him a lot of time. Griggs somehow survives. Baron sitting at about 2,000 HP. This looks like TSM's fight, but here comes TLA hard in the back. He should be able to pick up 2 kills on the back of this one. Grig doing his best to run away. Actually does survive for now. Hard now and has to run away. He goes down. That's a triple kill for Mr. Rollins. Absolutely hectic fight. Baron does not go down, but TSM picks up a bunch more kills. Wow. That kind of all stemmed from the fact that Hard and Mickey were off the map, and they felt like they could burst it down before they could get there. Team Liquid Academy, however, was willing to kind of sacrifice some members to stall. Maybe you could say Riven goes in a little bit early there, but he did buy a lot of time. He ends up going down immediately. Shoryu actually, bit of a misplay there, miscalculates the damage slightly, and rocket jumps into the entire team, does not get the reset. And because of that, he basically just killed himself. And that made it very easy for Mr. Relis to clean up the duo bot lane. Hard at that point was a little bit overcommitted to trying to find the little bug. And it is the bug who got away, unfortunately, for Team Liquid. So that is going to put TSM back in the driver's seat here. They've resecured about a 3,000 to 4,000 gold lead, I should say. A lot of summoners burn there for the side of Team Liquid, and TSM has flashes up on literally everybody. So I feel like this is their time. They really need to capitalize on this power spike here. You got Israel sitting on 2.5 items. He actually did decide to go for the Trinity Force, so he's going to have a bit more damage. Not quite as much utility, of course, with the slow, and not quite as much defense, but he feels like he's not really under threat, and I tend to agree with him. Brandini actually getting caught out here by Viper, decides to flash, actually. So a lot of respect paid there to the Riven former one trick. I don't want to call him a one trick anymore. Of course, he's on Team Liquid Academy. They have to have seen some potential in these other champions. Mickey here on this Azir trying to fend off the TSM brigade that is, looking to try to get vision control back of this Baron area. It's actually engaged from Team Liquid Academy, jumping forward. They get the quick pick on Grig. Now Shady realizes he's in a lot of trouble. Shoryu jumping forward will not get another kill, but that's a nice pick on the jungler, and it opens up the possibility of the Baron here. Anytime you have an Azir plus 80 carry of kind of any sort, you got a good Baron take, and they are going to go full force. TSM, they kind of have to contest this one. Beautiful GP ult. Shoryu is just getting killed by that alone. He has to back off to the back of the Baron, but he's going to take more damage back there. Baron dropping so low. Ablaze Olive flashes in, trying to get the suppress onto Hard, so he can't take the Baron. He does. Blastcomb back over the wall. Oh my god, he got it. That is a huge Baron secure for Team Liquid Academy. And would you know it, they win the fight as well. Are you serious? Triple kill for Mickey. That was absolute mayhem. That's an ace and a Baron for Team Liquid Academy. And all of a sudden, back and forth, playing a game of baseball. It is them who now have the advantage. And they might also get a mid tower off of this one. I would love to see a replay of that fight, because I was definitely not focused on all aspects of it. That was absolute insanity, but at the end of the day, okay, here we go. Here is the replay. So Team Liquid Academy commit to the Baron. It looks awful for them at first here. Shoryu basically gets chunked down to 0 HP, but he manages to survive at the back of the pit. Heals up as well with the Taric, and it's really Mickey with a huge ultimate there. Mr. Rawls actually goes in a little bit early, and then they kind of trade places. Team Liquid Academy start the fight choked up in the Baron pit, can't really move, getting chunked, and then TSM end up in the Baron pit, choked up, can't really move. So just a really well played team fight there from Team Liquid Academy. Decisive, made the call. They say, okay, Grig's dead. Let's do this Baron. We think we can tank it up long enough to where if they do engage on us, we can turn it around. And they are correct. Very well played by them. Shady gets stunned up here, throws up the wall though. He should be okay. We'll see what Team Liquid Academy can do with this Baron. They are now in the gold lead, and I feel like their team comp has hit the point where they're scaled hard enough where they can just do whatever they want. Flash in from Viper. Will they find the kill into Mr. Rallis? Actually looks for it on Grig. Maybe not going to get either of them here. They do pick up Shady in the end, so that is still a 1-for-0. And Brandini, meanwhile, on the top side, now dealing with this double buff Riven. He's going to go ahead and have to run away. A Blaze Olive actually running into the middle of the entire team. He goes down. Brandini soon to follow. That's 2 more kills for Team Liquid Academy. 3 for 0 in total in that trade. And they should be able to pick up an inhibitor off of this. A little bit of questionable play. You hate to see it. TSM had such a good start to this game. They were really dominating all the lane matchups, just getting so far ahead and as far as CS goes, but then just making some questionable decisions in the mid game. And now they find themselves in a pretty big hole here against this team comp that scales better than theirs. Take a look at how this happened. Mr. Rawless takes a lot of poke from the Azir. Hard thinks, yeah, maybe I can go in for this one. And with Viper on the top side, he definitely can. Unfortunately, Viper, it's kind of that old adage of the hunter who chases both hares, ends up catching none of them or whatever, however it goes. Basically, he wanted kind of both kills. He ended up getting none of them. They still pick up Shady, though. And they end up picking off the Malzahar and the GP at the end of that fight. So it all works out well there for Team Liquid Academy, and they are in such a commanding position right now. TSM Academy do have all the dragons, which is nice for them. Unfortunately, they can't really capitalize on it. Of course, they would want to capture the Elder Drake with having all those empowered dragons. But that's going to be extremely hard considering Team Liquid Academy basically has entire control of the map right now. And this is a really good stage of the game, I feel like, for Team Liquid Academy. Of course, it's kind of accelerated by the fact that they have all the kills and they also picked up the Baron. But it's at the stage of the game where their carries actually have enough items to be very threatening, but also Riven is still a huge factor. So I feel like this is a huge power spike right here for Team Liquid Academy, and I'm not sure how TSM's going to deal with this. They still have pretty good team fighting, of course, with the Braum GP zoning area control kind of situation, and Malzahar Israel going to be dumping out a lot of damage. Fortunately, Kha'Zix is kind of useless at this point, and if Team Liquid Academy kind of play the fight intelligently, I feel like they can't really lose realistically. They have a level 17 Mickey on Azir with 3.5 items, and they have Shoryu on that Tristana, who has hit 3 items now as well and got the QSS just for the extra safety. They got the Taric ultimate fail-safe kind of panic button. This is going to be a big challenge for TSM Academy to turn this one around. Super Minions barreling down the mid lane, no pun intended. GP will be going to deal with those. No Baron anymore, though, so it is a little bit challenging to siege these towers with the decent wave clear that TSM Academy has. They can't quite get close enough yet, but that's the thing about this Team Liquid Academy team comp. That's a flash forward from Joey, actually. Lands the stun under Rallis, but he had eat away. A bit of a weird engage there from the Taric. Wastes the ult. Braum ult also gets wasted. Shorio will pick up the kill on a Blaze Olive, though. He steps way too close, gets chunked, and killed. And this should now be that bottom tier 2 tower finally being broken from Team Liquid Academy. And they don't look like they want to stop anytime soon. They got Super Minions in the mid lane. They got Viper in the top lane, knocking on that inhibitor. And now they start to chunk away at this one. Mid laner and most of the wave clear down right now for TSM Academy. It's actually forced the GP to come over and try to help in that regard. That's going to be the top lane inhibitor tower going down. Viper is just completely unanswered right now. He's got those huge core items for the Riven. That's a hard engage there from the Sejuani. Catches out Shady. They don't really care who it is right now. They just want to kill everybody. Grig getting dropped so low. He might just drop. Does. Flash forward from Shoryu. Does secure that kill. He is forced to rocket jump out. Hard does go down, but it's the re-engage from Viper. Flexing his muscles. They pick up the kill onto Brandini. He's going to go down. Alt actually catches Mickey. Zonias is going to buy him a little time. He might still go down. He does indeed. TLA getting a lot from this, but it looks like they will have to back off now. Maybe not. Shoryu says he thinks he can still get this one. That Nexus Tower, oh so low. One shot from going down. They have to be careful. Their health bars are pretty low. It's Shoryu, Joey, and Viper still remaining. It's basically a 3v2, but the health bars are so low from Team Liquid Academy. They have to be careful, and there's so much range on that carry duo coming out of TSM Academy. It will force Team Liquid to back off for now, but they got so much out of that. They got the top lane inhibitor, mid's already down as we take a look at their engage here. And honestly, it's just intelligent. They realize that The super minions in the mid lane have to be answered. They realize that Viper in the top lane has to be answered, and they know that a Blaze Olive is already down. So even if it's a tower dive, they can't really lose. I mean, they end up almost fountain diving here, which is probably why they get turned around on them a little bit. But either way, Team Liquid get a hell of a lot off of that one. Unfortunately for them, they weren't quite able to pick up the inhibitor in the bot lane, and they weren't able to pick up that Nexus tower, which does regenerate health. So TSM Academy are very happy to have held onto that one. Baron is up and available. TSM are going to have a tough time contesting this one. They do have the GP ult though, so any fights in kind of these condensed areas are somewhat good for them. They're really going to need to get a miracle team fight to happen here though. Both TPs are available for the top laners. Viper's going to be sitting in the spot lane, and this top matchup, which is now in the bottom lane, ironically enough, is going to be very key into how this Baron works. But I feel like Team Liquid has so much pressure on all sides of the map right now, I don't even think they can contest the Baron realistically. It looks like they will push them off, and the Baron has been started up here. Grig is hanging around, possibly looking for that steal. And Team Liquid Academy actually decides to back off. They're saying, hold on a minute, let's recoup here. We don't want to make any risky 50-50 plays. They're thinking they don't really even need the Baron. They're just going to go in and take the inhibitor in the mid lane. No tower there to defend it, so they're just going to go ahead and grab that one up. TSM showing small signs of resistance here, but it is very low, and I feel like they're just going to have to give that one up. So that's 2 inhibitors down now. If they get the third one here, that's really going to be problematic for TSM Academy. Having double super minions pouring in both waves means that you can't really spend enough time to come out and contest the Baron, but if you give up the Baron and all inhibitors, you basically just lose the game. So they're in a very difficult position here. They kind of have to just force a fight, which is what you can see they're trying to do. But Team Liquid Academy playing it intelligently, they're just like, okay, we'll just back off and wait for the wave. Hard has other things in mind, actually, does go in for the engage. Nice GP ult. The suppress goes down. Tarko will it be in time to save him? It is barely. Mickey on that. Azir doing work on the front line, but a little bit too much work. He actually just gets taken down. It is a 1-for-1 though. Brandini goes down in the process. Team Liquid Academy still want to try for this inhibitor. They're dropping pretty low on the health bars though. Blaze Olive looking very healthy on that Malzahar, and this should be the defense holding. You would think Team Liquid Academy being very persistent with this offense, though. They find their way back into the fight. Nice E landing there from the Malzahar onto Shoryu. Shady stepping in, trying to be that defensive wall that the Braum can be. Stun does lands onto Sejuani. She survived last time. Will she this time? Malzahar all back up. Do they have the damage? Not quite. The Reengage comes in. They tag Joey with the Braum Q. He looks like he is going to be sacrificed by his team. A Blaze Olive picks up that kill. Very nicely played by TSM to get those kills. Unfortunately for them, Team Liquid Academy was kind of like, well, even if we lose this, our minions are destroying their base. And that is both Nexus towers down for TSM Academy. All they have left right now is the Nexus and 1 inhibitor to their name. Team Liquid Academy now looking to that Baron. They weren't quite able to get all 3 inhibitors, which would have been very, very nice for them, but they still have the Baron available. Cloud Drake's actually still up. They may want to take that just to have the Elder Drake, but at the same time, maybe they don't want to take it because Elder Drake may be the only win condition for TSM Academy here. Israel might get his first red buff in what seems like 37 minutes. It's going to be Viper pushing in the bot lane. Both TPs available. TP advantage actually to the side of TSM Academy, but I feel like that really won't matter because Malzahar will be constantly having to stay with the team. A lot of pings going down. Team Liquid Academy doing a bit of bait and switch here, pressuring the Baron, but then just kind of brute forcing down the lanes. There is an exposed Nexus right now. The top lane inhibitor has respawned here for TSM Academy, so a little bit less dire of a situation. 1 lane super minions is not too hard to deal with. It's really when you get to the 2 and 3 where you just can't really contest anything outside of your own base. Team Liquid Academy really don't want to contest this Baron, and I'm kind of surprised. I feel like if they're just patient, but also decisive enough with it, they can just kind of force it without a problem. But they decide they don't need it. They don't want to make the big throw at the Baron that they see all the time. They really want to try and crack this bot lane inhibitor so that TSM has a harder time answering the Baron. Of course, the bot lane inhibitor for the red team is the one you don't want to drop, because it's so much harder to contest the Baron when you have to be all the way in the bot lane and then roam all the way back up. Team Liquid Academy getting stalled out a little bit here, but it's really not that big of an issue for them because they do have the late game scaling team comp. They got the Zir, they got the Tristana, they got that Sejuani, who's going to be a super frontline. And even though Riven does fall off, she can still be very useful. She can still flash in CC on the AD carry. She can still be a frontline, you know, she's got the GA, she's got the Tark backing her up, and this will be Team Liquid Academy finally taking the Baron. And I feel like they could have done this a little while ago, but they decide now is the time they want it. And they're going to back off, get those final items and the elixirs all popped in their inventory, and this should possibly be the final push. We'll see if they actually want to... I'm interested to see if they actually grab the dragon on the way, just in case, just to kind of set up the Elder Dragon, just in case they maybe need it for whatever reason. GA is completed on Shorio, so if you thought he was playing aggressively in the front lines before, just you wait. He's going to have a whole new set of confidence coming into these next fights. Looks like they decided not to pick up the dragon, so they probably are saying to themselves, you know what, we don't even want to give TSM the option of getting that Elder Drake if we somehow lose a fight, so they're just going to ignore that one for now. They're going to wait for their split pushers to get in position. TSM actually trying to take advantage of this. Do get onto Shoryu. That is a nice Malzahar ult. QSS Flash comes through. They do get the knock up onto Joey, and they back them off for now. They realize if they go too far, though, their base will get absolutely torn apart. The Nexus is exposed. So Team Liquid Academy do fend them off for now. Flash is blown on both of the bot laners, though, so possibly an opening here. This is really where that late game decisive shot calling comes into effect. We'll see which team has the upper hand here. Team Liquid Academy with the team compositional advantage, but that doesn't always transition into a win. Sometimes it's just the better calls. Team Liquid Academy, Shoryu pounding away on that inhib. It should go down without a problem. Bot lane as well is going to be under threat here. Team Liquid Academy rotating over there. They got Azir in the top lane. He is very safe. He can just truffle shuffle out whenever he wants to. TSM Academy getting desperate here. They really need to find a fight. They can't drop all three inhibitors and Baron. That would be absolutely detrimental, but I think that's what's going to happen here. They just don't really have a choice. Team Liquid Academy playing so patient and intelligently. And really all Team Liquid Academy have to do right now is just wait for the minions and usher them in. They should do all the work. That's an exposed Nexus. There's literally nothing TSM can do here. Even if they lose the fight, Team Liquid Academy say, hey, we want to make it interesting. Let's go all in. Tarek ult doing so much work. TSM dropping like flies. GS popping left and right, but it won't matter. That's going to be 3 kills already to the side of Team Liquid Academy. And more importantly, the Nexus, they take this game very fun game to watch. Team Liquid Academy take that late game scaling team comp, fall a little bit behind in the early game, but thanks to some mistakes from TSM Academy, they were able to capitalize and finally close it out in a very exciting game that was very fun to watch. GG, well played to Team Liquid Academy.